Hey folks, Jamie here. Thank you for tuning in. Before we get started, I would like for you to take a moment and go down below and hit the like and subscribe buttons. Maybe leave a comment. If you're really feeling generous, maybe share this video to your social media feeds. What that does is make it a lot easier for other people to find a moment of Tiki. I really appreciate it and it helps out a lot. Thanks. Now, on with the show. Welcome to another episode of A Moment of Tiki, coming to you from the Lagoon of Mystery, my home tiki bar here in Central Texas. Longtime viewers may recall last year I did an episode on tiki lighting. Well, not tiki lighting per se, but I showed how I made shades to go over the lamps that were attached to the fans in my outdoor tiki space. Other than that, I have not addressed tiki lighting very much, and truth to say, that is a big gaping hole in my tiki background, my tiki game, my decor skills. One area that I am sorely lacking on. I am going to attempt to remedy that and focus on lighting this coming summer, and hopefully you'll be able to benefit and get some ideas from that, as well as I explore this area that I have been sadly neglecting. The path of least resistance to tiki lighting, and let's face it, there are incredible elaborate options out there and approaches to lighting your home tiki bar. But for me, starting out, we're going to go with the path of least resistance. And when I say that, I mean I'm not going to start from scratch. Case in point, this past weekend I was at an antique mall and I found this. It is a rattan table lamp, and actually when I first saw it I thought this was a grapevine, because in this part of Texas there's a lot of grapevine country art crafty things that go on, but on closer examination I realized that this was rattan woven together into this table lamp. And you put everything together and turn it on. It's not that exciting, but I looked beyond this and I saw a tiki swag lamp, a hanging swag lamp that wanted to be let out. And so in today's episode, that is what we're going to do. We are going to turn this lamp into a tiki hanging lamp. First of all, I need to remove the inner cylinder, and it is held in place by four type of specialized safety pins, I guess you would call. And you get those unlatched and you can pull this central cylinder out. The light fixture is held in place by an Uno filter that is with 3 prongs right here. So to turn this into a swag, I'm going to have some type of suspension. For that, I've decided I'm going to use braided seagrass cord, mainly because I like the aesthetics of it. So I'm going to loop the cord here and then just tie a basic square knot. Now, put those 3 in place. And to that, I'm going to add this extra swag chain that I have and thread the wire through it. Now we come to the biggest part of the conversion, turning the rattan table lamp into a tiki swag lamp, and that is this core shade light diffuser. It's a dull green, fairly neutral, but most definitely not tiki. I'm going to recover this. I went on to Spoonflower, which is a fantastic website where artists, creators upload fabric patterns that they have designed themselves that you can order swatches of, yards of any amount in various different material styles, types, weights, that sort of thing, and all the creators get a cut of the proceeds, which is great. You're going to pay a little more than you would at, say, a Walmart fabric section or something like that, but still, you're going to find stuff at Spoonflower that you're not going to find anywhere else. Case in point, this really, really cool Tiki fabric. I knew I wanted to go with green, a primarily green design, since this was already green and I wasn't going to be able to remove that. So I found this and fell in love with it and said that is exactly what I need. I ordered a fat quarter because I didn't need all that much, and I measured it out, and turns out that that would be more than sufficient. So I am going to now measure and cut the section so we can wrap it around the shade. So I should probably turn this around, huh? So you can see better. Double check, double check. Okay, great. I'm going to take my pencil and draw a long space where the shade rolls. I'm just going to roll it straight along here. I'm going to mark this side too, just so we have a reference. I'm keeping track of the seam on this side. And I am using a pencil because it won't bleed through like a pen would. And get to the end. Take my straight edge here and square off the end. So now I have mapped out the section that is going to wrap around here. Now I'm going to add another 1/2 inch to the end because this is going to fold over and act as a hem. Straight edge. Going to connect the dots. And finally, I'm going to go back to this side and add another 1/2 inch. Over here, as with this other side, that's going to fold over the top of the shade. And now, with your pattern marked out, take a pair of fabric scissors, or if you have a rolling cutter, that will work too, and cut out your fabric. And here we have it, the fabric that is going to wrap around the light and make it full-blown tiki. All right, now is where things get fraught with peril. I have this box laid out and I have my fabric. At which point, now, got Gorilla Glue spray adhesive. Any particular spray adhesive will work just fine. But you want to make sure that you're going to spray it so it can be repositioned, so you can make sure that it lines up properly on the lampshade. Okay, here it goes. Okay. I'm going to move this to a now the hem space that the extra ½ inch that we allowed at this end, you're going to want to fold over and press down on itself so it will form a solid seam. Excellent. Now that we have that, it's time to apply to the light. Now make sure when you're lining this up, oh, forgot one thing. Now that I have the seam formed, I need to spray adhesive on it so it will stick to itself. Can't forget this step. Okay. Now, taking the lamp shade, line it up as before, and when you're happy with it, start rolling. Straight across, keeping it as straight as possible. Okay, I feel pretty stupid. The camera memory card filled up right as I was completing the wraparound on here, and you didn't get to see it, but suffice to say, I completed it successfully. Just continued rolling it around until the hem that we had made on the end where we folded it over overlapped the edge where we had started, and the glue is adhered. And then once that had been finished and we smoothed everything out, we tucked over the ½ inch overhang that we had left on either end so that it folded in on itself, and the spray adhesive secured it firmly. And now we have a fully tiki-fied lampshade for the interior of the lamp. That done, we're still not finished, particularly with the basket here. This is old rattan, it's dried. I've had a few pieces break and crumble off already. And I also want to give it a patina of age, give it more of a tropical look. So I have broken out the old trusty bullseye shellac, and we're going to put a coat over all this rattan. A little bit to give it some protection, but mostly to give it that kind of golden aged patina that looks so good with tiki. And shellac is food safe. You don't want to eat it or anything, but it has a nice amber glow to it. It's soluble in alcohol, so you don't want to spill your rum on it. And it dries very quickly. And I am putting the shellac on all these rattan vines here. And, you know, perhaps it'll offer a little bit of protection, but even if not, since it's going to be a hanging swag lamp, it's going to be up out of the way and, at least in theory, subjected to a lot less abuse than it would have potentially been as a table lamp. So, one issue is that as this was a table lamp, the cord came out through the side. And as a swag lamp, I don't want this. I want it to come straight up. So we are going to unscrew the socket from the Uno mount inside and pull this up from the spider. When you're doing all this, make sure your light is unplugged. You do not want electricity coursing through here. Pulling this back, and here on this plug, this particular version of a plug has two friction clamps for the wires, the positive and the negative, and you push them in, they slide easily, but the lever, when you try and pull out, it moves up and locks them into position so they can't be pulled out. The way around this is to use a paper clip to press down on the lever while you pull them up, and it works fairly easily. Now, with this separated, we're going to put it aside. Don't lose it, we need it later. We're going to thread this out through the hole in the side. Now, I want to add this swag chain. I had this laying around. I think it matches well. Leftovers from other projects are fantastic to have, so I need to open this chain link so I can loop it on the seagrass hangers that I tied yesterday. So cross and just pull open a little bit so it can slip in, and now we close it back up. You'll see I put blue tape on the parts of the chain that I was going to be crimping with the pliers so it didn't mar and scratch up the finish. So I'm going to thread this through the chain. In order to do so, I need to find out how far back it needs to go. Right about here. I really hope y'all appreciate all the fumbling around that I edit out of the videos for you, so you don't have to suffer along with me. The switch unscrews easily with a Phillips head screwdriver and pops right off. Make note of the way the wires are laid out inside. You'll want to put them back the way you found them. And now, take the wire and we thread through the chain. Trying this again, we thread these through the opening on the Uno screw cap. And let's reinsert them. Negative wire goes in the negative slot, under the wing, retaining wing. Positive wire goes into the positive slot and slips that under the retaining wing. Uno screw cap into position. Now, I just slide it in here and thread into the Uno socket. Simple as that. With the switch replaced, restored to position, we are now in the end game. Remember this bad boy? It's time to insert. And it goes, just slides right up in here. Nice and smooth and flush. Now that it's there, we need those pins. Remember these from before? And one by one, I'm going to reconnect each and every one of them to anchor this into place. And there we have it. Now, there's one more thing we need to do. Light bulb. Instead of the old plain soft white bulb, this time I've inserted a green LED. Thread it in there. Here. And now the moment of truth. Ta-da! I don't know about you, but I think it looks pretty snazzy. Now all I have to do is hang it up and we're good to go. There you have it. Tiki-fying a found lamp that was never intended to be tiki. You won't ever find this hanging in the Mai Kai or Three Dots and a Dash or Halle Pele or any of the other great tiki destinations, but for my humble home bar, I think it's a good start. With many more and more ambitious lamp builds to come. So, until next time from the Lagoon of Mystery, aloha. So I've measured out the length of chain that I need, the swag chain, and I've put, again, blue tape on here to protect the finish. And I'm going to peel this open just a little bit. Doesn't have to be as much this time because we are only pulling off well, suffice to say that's not going in there.